Hey there, this is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, and this is 4th Street Baseball on my channel. It's a debut game. I have two other short 10-minute videos on this game as well. I'm playing it a little bit faster. This one I will play a little bit slower, and it goes into, we are in the top of the 8th inning. The score is 5-4 Nats, and it was a solo home run by Kurt Suzuki in the bottom of the 6th inning that broke a 4-4 tie, and the Nats are up 5-4. Mets got all their runs in the first 2 innings on a solo shot by Pete Alonso and a 3-run homer by J.D. Davis. So let's do this. Now we join the action in the top of the 8th inning. There are 2 outs and runners on first and second. Cano's at second base. McNeil is at first base. And you know what? We are going to bring in Luis Guillorme to run for Cano. Guillorme, and he's going to be a pinch runner, and then he's going to stay into play second base. All right, so it is Ahmed Rosario, who today is 0 for 3. He's flied out, grounded out, and flied out again. Facing Bearclaw, Kyle Bearclaw. They just brought him in. The inning, Mark Grace started the inning. Let me see. Is it Mark Grace? I don't know what I do with his card. Or Matt Grace, excuse me. Matt Grace began the inning. And now we get to two right-handed hitters are coming up, Rosario and Davis. And we will, you know what? Instead of Guillorme running, we're gonna put Broxton to run. So Broxton's gonna run because, well, if I do that, I knock out 2, but I may need a pinch hitter for the pitcher, and then I could bring in Guillorme. But I'm going to have to bring in Guillorme anyway here to play second base because Broxton's an outfielder. It's tricky. But I'd rather have Guillorme batting on that spot if it gets there. So I'm going to let Broxton run. I'm going to waste a player. So here goes. Let me get the right dice because I was playing Stratomatic last night, and those are different dice. So all right, here goes, and I'll explain to you how you roll 5 dice, 2d10, 1d20, and 2d6. Sounds like a lot. It really isn't. You start off by reading the 44, and the 44, we're going to look at the matchup. He's a righty, and he's a righty, so the matchup is right here. We're going to look at 44. 44 falls into the right field column because between 41 and 45, it would become a right fielder event or matchup. So we're going to look at the right fielder, and the right fielder is Eaton. So we're going to look at his defensive number. This is a game of matchups. We're going to look at Eaton's defensive number. And there's a little card for each team. Adam Eaton is a 5 in right field. And then we're going to look at Rosario's hits versus outfield. And that's a 15. So you subtract the 5 from the 15, you get a 10. And then we're going to look at the red. If it's a 10 or less on the D20, the red D20, then it would be off the batter. If it's above the 10, then it would be off the pitcher, and that gives the pitcher an advantage, right? And actually, no, I'm sorry. It would be off the outfielder, and that gives the outfielder an advantage, okay? Because in this case, it's not a matchup between the batter and the pitcher, but it's Eaton, the right fielder, and Ahmed Rosario. And as you can see, it's a 12. So Eaton wins it. Now we're going to add up the 2d6, which is an 8. And we look at Eaton's card, and it's going to tell us the result. And an 8 is a 64. No, an 8 to Eaton, the outfielder, is an 89, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. And that's going to end the inning. So Bearclaw comes in and does the job. He gets Ahmed Rosario to fly out to right. And the Mets strand a couple. Score remains at 5-4 Nats. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. All right, exciting game. Now, the Mets brought in Gazelman. Actually, the Mets used 3 pitchers in the 7th. They started off with Familia. He got into a little trouble. Then they brought in Wilson to face Soto, lefty on lefty. And then they brought in a righty to face Zimmerman. Remember, this is 2011. They still don't have that 3-batter rule. All right, so Robert Gazelman is going to face, the best place to put this, I guess, would be right there. He's going to face Suzuki, who's 1 for 2 with a home run, solo shot. Dozier, who's 1 for 3 with a single, and he was thrown out at the plate. And then, of course, Strasburg is not in there, the pitcher spot, and then we're going to get a pinch hitter for that position. All right, so let's do this. Let's roll and see what happens. We're playing 4th Street Baseball. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Oh. All right, again, we're going to start off with a matchup. It's a righty versus a righty, so we're looking in this match section. Pretty simple. And it's just we start with reading the D10. We start with the larger and of course, and it's a 71 righty versus righty, a 71, and that is going to fall versus the pitcher. So we're going to look at a fastball breaking ball matchup versus a right-hander, and that's a 5. So it will be a fastball. So Gazelman's fastball is a 7 versus Suzuki's 19 versus a right-handed pitcher, which is the pitcher matchup. So 7 minus 19 is a 12, but we rolled an 8. So it's going to be a result off of the batter's card. The batter wins the matchup. He gets his fastball, and he's right, and it's going to be a 5, a 66, and it's hit hard. It's ripped to the shortstop. Rosario up with it, throws over to first, and that's 1 down. So just like that, pretty quick to resolve the exchange. So again, now we have a new batter. It's a righty, Brian Dozier. So we're looking on that matchup side, on the right side, versus a righty. Got my dog. My dog wants to come into the room. Now I'm going to let her in. All right, we're looking again for the 41, right? Let me let the dog into the room so she quiets down. When she hears me in here, she loves to come in here. All right. Let me, I don't know. I have a feeling let's see, let me see if I can, I feel it's like fogged up or it's dusty or it's blurry. Let me just clean it up. Let's see if that gets a little bit better. I don't know. I see it as kind of blurry, but everything looks blurry to me. Let me see if it's my glasses as well. Because, I have my glasses next to me, and I read at night, and I grab them. Sometimes I grab them by the lens, and that fogs up everything. All right, that's a little bit better. Looks a little bit better to me. All right, let's see. Brian Dozier, let's do this again. So we rolled a 41 versus the matchup. Let's look at the matchup and see what it tells us. So a 41 is going to fall between the 45 and the 39 range. 39, of course, would be left field. 45, so 40 to 45 would be center field. So this is a matchup between the center fielder and the batter. So that's what this game is all about, really, individual matchups, including matchups versus the pitcher and matchups versus the ballpark. And sometimes it's just a straight power column on the batter card, which is pretty cool. All right, so it's versus the center fielder, and in center field we got Nimmo. Nimmo, I believe, eventually you learn the numbers, you memorize the numbers, and Nimmo's a 4. And the outfield versus the outfield and right-handed pitcher column, it says a 15, so it's a 4 minus, it's 15 minus a 4, and that leaves us with an 11. So in 11, we're going to look at the D20, and that is a 19, which is above that. So the outfielder is going to win the matchup. And we're going to look at a 6 on the outfielder's card. And the 6 is going to be an 88. So that's a drive in the gap. And after it is Nimmo, and he chases it down for out number 2. So that's F8. All right. And now we have Steven Strasburg, the pitcher spot. So we're going to get a pinch hitter for Strasburg. Let's see who that's going to be. Let me see, did I write any? See if all right, trying to remember who was on this team. Oh, Adams. Matt Adams is going to come in and pinch hit. I know he's available to do that. So here comes Matt Adams. Now we're going to put him there and write him in. All right. And we're going to roll. Let's see. We're looking for the result of the 2D10. That's the first thing we're going to check. And that is a 35. So the matchup is versus a lefty. So a 35 falls into the left fielder range. Right? Shortstop goes up to 33. So 34 to 38 would be a left fielder. Our left fielder is McNeil. All right. I brought in Guillorme here. So Guillorme is in this spot playing second base. And the pitcher is in this spot right here. You know what? I'll let Broxton play left field, and I'll replace. I'm going to put the pitcher in McNeil's spot. So I had a few changes there. So the pitcher is in McNeil's spot, so it's Broxton in left field. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put Broxton in center field and put Nimmo in left field. That's usually what they did. Broxton's a better center fielder, so I should have been looking at Broxton's number on this one, and Broxton would just be a better number. So nothing really would have changed because Broxton is a better center fielder than Nimmo, and Nimmo won the exchange. So that's not going to mean anything. It's okay. I don't have to replay it or freak out or lose sleep over it. So it's going to be Gazelman against Adams. And we just rolled the 35, so that's going to be versus the lefty. It's going to be a left fielder. Now it's Nimmo in left field, and he's a 4 in left field. Now, well, this only gives you his primary position, so let's check Nimmo's card and see what he is in left field. Nimmo in left field is also a 4. If you can see that, his defense, see that? You got to, once you know that this is batting versus lefty versus righties, this is his bunt and hit and run, and this is his defense. It doesn't seem so overwhelming. The card is not going to freak you out so much. So he's a 4. So then we're going to look at Matt Adams versus a righty pitcher. To the outfield is a 15. So 15 minus 4 is an 11. And 11, we roll a 13. So it's going to be off of Nimmo's card. And we have to look at we add up the 2d6, which is an 8. And we look at Nimmo, and Nimmo, an 8 is going to be a fly ball to left field, and that will end the inning. So the Mets are down to the last 3 outs. It's last licks for the Mets here in the top of the 9th inning in a 5-4 game. No runs, no hits, none left. In the bottom of the 8th, we go to the top of the 9th. It's going to be Davis, a pinch hitter. Oh, no, Davis, Guillorme, the second baseman, and Brandon Nimmo. Yep. All right. So we're going to get the closer for the Nats. And I think at this point, the closer was, let me check who they were using as a closer at this point. Let's see, Nats versus Nats. They were using Kyle Bearclaw comes in that game. Let's go to the next game. So they play. It's a 3-game set. New York at Nats or at Nationals. And I'm looking to see who the Nats were using as a closer. Let's go to the next game. Let's go to the 3rd game, see what happens. That's what happens when you stream live and you need to find out certain information. Okay, Sean Doolittle. So that's who I thought they were going to grab, and they're going to bring in Sean Doolittle. In 2019, he was more like do nothing, although he had a lot of saves. Mets, this is the first year after a bunch of years that the Mets don't have Wilmer Flores anymore. I think he went over to Colorado. They released him. He went over to Colorado. They didn't extend him. They didn't give him an extension, offer him an extension to his contract. Although he was big for the Mets, a popular hero, and I think he leads the team in walk-off victories. Let's see. Here's Sean Doolittle. All right, it's going to be Sean Doolittle coming in facing a righty, a lefty, and Brandon Nimmo. And let's do this. Let's go back to the camera, to the live stream. All right, so it's J.D. Davis versus Sean Doolittle, and it's going to be the matchup is a basically versus a right-handed hitter. So versus a righty, you're going to look on this side, and that's going to be a 44. And a 44 versus a righty is going to fall within the right fielder range. The right fielder, of course, you know, is Adam Eaton. And Adam Eaton, we said before, is a 5. So J.D. Davis versus a lefty to the outfield is a 16 minus 5. So that's an 11. We roll a 15. So that's going to be off Eaton's card. We're going to look at 6 plus 4 is 10 off of Eaton's card because the matchup is between the batter and the right fielder. And the 10 is going to be a 99, which is a fly ball, a deep fly ball to right field. Back goes Eaton to the track, and he hauls it in. So let's write in Doolittle. So it's 1 out for the Mets. Now it's a lefty coming up, Luis Guillorme. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have maybe pinch hit with Guillorme. I'm looking for my card set now with the Mets. Let's see. Those are, cannot find the Mets anywhere. Oh, here they are, back here. All right. So we're bringing in Guillorme. Broxton is in there as well. And I didn't think ahead far enough. I didn't say to myself, oh, well, their closer is a lefty, so I want Broxton hitting in that 9th spot. So I didn't do a good job managing. But when I'm trying to, keep track of everything, I forgive myself. All right, so I'm looking for Guillorme here, and within the Mets set. So you get most of the cards. I'm not sure if you get every single card. I believe you may get every single card. I'm just not sure. I just didn't bother to go into looking for every single last guy. I do have the main guys that started games. Those are the guys I'm interested in having. All right, for some reason, I don't see Luis Guillorme here. For some reason, I don't know why. So that's a little bit of a drag. Let's see if he's in the... I was sure I had him somewhere, and I saw him somewhere. Oh, you know where he would be? He would be in the blank card, in the black and white cards, the black and white sets. Let's see if I have any of those in here. Oh, that's because I don't have any black and white cards for them. That's why. Oh, that one was that one there. Drew Gagnon, Lockett, Gomez, Mazza. So this is a problem, right? This is obviously a problem. I don't have them, so I'm going to have to kind of look him up on my screen. So I'm looking for Luis Guillorme to pinch hit, and I can't find him in my set. All right, so let's look at the extra cards I have on the side. Let's see if Guillorme is in there. It's a little bit of a drag. All right, so let me bring up the set of cards, the download. I bought these in PDF form, by the way. Score's 5-4, 1 out, top of the 9th inning. We're playing 4th Street baseball, doing a tutorial. Let's see, downloads. All right, my computer's bringing it up. This should be it here. Okay. Let's see if I have Guillorme with the Mets. And I'll just use this card off the screen. Now, Guillorme had about 100 at bats, so I don't know where he would be if he's in the extra players or he's in the regular team set. There's an extra player set and there's a regular team set. Go to the website, check out this game. It's a lot of fun. It's got a little learning curve at first. It seems like there's a lot going on, but once you get it, you're looking for the matchup is really the key. Who's the matchup against? Once you know that, you get the result. So I like to figure out what is the strategy. I like to develop strategies when I'm learning these games, and kind of figure out, okay, what is the perspective that the designer's taking here. Again, I'm scrolling through all the teams. I'm in Texas. Should get to, I don't know. I don't think I missed the Mets. I don't know why. This may be the American League. That's why. Here it is. All right. So let's see. Where is Luis Guillorme? So Luis Guillorme is in a. That's why. Okay. So Guillorme doesn't. He's not in the regular set. That's what it seems to be. Guillorme is not in the regular set. Let me see if he's in the extra players at the bottom. Yeah, there's a few extra players at the bottom, and he may be in there. Let's look for that. Let's go back up because we may have missed him somewhere. That's probably what happened. I didn't go into this. There's a separate file with extra players, and then at the bottom of the regular player set, there's extra players as well. And I never bothered to go there to print out anybody. So right now I'm looking at Washington, Atlanta, Miami, Philadelphia, New York, Paul Sewell. There he is, Luis Guillorme. I got his card. Okay, let's do this. Let's roll. And it's an 18. So the matchup is versus a lefty, lefty versus lefty, and 18 is going to fall to, it's going to go to the third baseman. So it's a ground ball to the third baseman. Third baseman is Rendon. Off the top of my head, he's a 6. Guillorme to the infield versus a lefty is a 10. So that makes it a 4. We roll a 15. That's going to be off Rendon. This is sure to be an out. Rendon is a heck of a fielder, and we're going to look at that 8 total. So we got the 18, which is what we started off to figure out the matchup. And the matchup went to the outfielder, lefty versus lefty, 18, third baseman, I'm sorry. 18 falls onto the third baseman. So we're looking at the third baseman, and that's Rendon. And then we're looking at the 8 on Rendon's card because he won the matchup, and that's going to be a ground ball hit hard. Rendon backhands it over to first and in time. So that is out number 2, just like we suspected. And here comes Brandon Nimmo with 2 outs. The Mets are down to the last out here in a 5-4 game. Can the Mets pull it out using 4th Street Baseball? It is Sean Doolittle trying to close it out for the Nats here in 2019. This is the year that the Nationals win the World Series. All right, so we're looking at the results of the green and the white, and it's a 0-1. Oh, this is exciting. Let me explain why. A 0-1, the matchup versus a lefty becomes a power matchup. That means it's basically a meatball and a wheelhouse pitch that Brandon Nimmo jumps on, and it goes directly to Brandon Nimmo's card. So this is a opportunity to tie up the game, a solo shot. So that 0-1 is huge because it turns it into an automatic power column for the batter. Now we go to the next number, which is a 7, which I don't know if that's going to be a home run, but it's a deep drive to right field, and back goes Eaton to the track, to the wall, and that's out of here. Game is tied. Brandon Nimmo with 2 outs in the 9th inning ties it up for a solo shot here against Sean Doolittle. All right. And he picks up an RBI. So the game is tied at 5 apiece with 2 outs in the 9th. Brandon Nimmo gets a hold of a fastball and drives it into right center field for a home run. All right, and here's Pete Alonso. So again, the way that worked, let me replay it for you. So the matchup ended up being a power matchup. In a power matchup, as you can see, PW, in a power matchup, it goes directly to the power number of the, and I'll read that to you right from the instructions. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. All right. Let's look at a power matchup. I may be thinking of something else. So let's double check power matchup strategy. Okay. So it's a 0-1 matchup power, which means that the pitcher got one up in the zone. The ball is hit deep. The batter automatically wins the matchup, and we do not need to look at any of the players' grades. The +1 grade for the batter is used in ballpark matchups. So I don't use this +2 unless I'm looking at the ballpark card, which is another very cool aspect of this game, and I have to share it with you. So, and it looks complicated, but it's super duper easy. This is probably the easiest part of the game. So anyway, so as I was reading, the batter automatically wins the matchup. We do not need to look at the player's grades. So then we add up the 2d6, which is a 7, a 6, and a 1. We look under the power number, and that's a 47, which is a deep drive home run. That's how we found that out. All right, so 2 outs, and here comes Pete Alonso. And next is going to be Broxton, who replaced Cano. And here's the pitch from Sean Doolittle with 2 outs in a 5-5 ball game. And that is going to be a 59. So the matchup is probably going to be a pitcher matchup. 59 takes us to a pitcher matchup. So is it a fastball or breaking ball? It's going to be a breaking ball. How do I know? Because the 9 tells me that. It is a separate little chart, but it's easy to memorize. 9 is usually a breaking ball most of the time. Plus he's a +2, so that's the stand, pretty much somewhere in the standard. So versus a right-handed batter, it's a breaking ball. We have to see who wins the matchup. The pitcher's a 4. Alonso versus a lefty pitcher is a 20, so that's a 16. So a 7 is under the 16. So we're going to read it off Alonso's card, and it's the 9. We're going to look for the result of the 9. We're going to scroll down, and a 9 is a strikeout. So Doolittle gets Alonso to chase a slider, and that retires the side, but the Mets pick up 1 run on 1 hit, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. And I will continue this because I'm going to print out Guillorme's card, and I should have Guillorme's card. I just don't know why I don't. But I will be back, guys. I have to go to the garage. I got to drop off my car. There's some work I have to have done. And this is Cards and Dice TV. Tony Porter. Thanks for watching. Check out the game. It's a fun game. Take care.